Hi everyone, my name is Justin Wagman. Today I'll be talking to you guys about 5 concepts that I learned from this class that I can utilize when entering the workforce. Alright, so a quick overview about what we'll talk about today. I will start with an introduction, then I'll move into the concepts. They will be lateral thinking, ethical leadership behaviors, participative leadership, personality traits of a leader, teamwork responsibilities, and then I'll wrap things up at the end. I set up all of these slides that I will explain each of the concepts and then prompt myself with a question, which I can then explain how I will use it in my field. All right, so the introduction, I am a safety management major here at Slippery Rock University. I am a senior. I have already secured a job for after college. I'll be working at Skanska USA Building as an environmental health and safety manager. This will put me right into a leadership role where I will have people that will rely on me for safety knowledge and as a resource. And I will also be working in a team-based environment with other Skanska employees to help manage the project and make decisions. The first concept we'll be going over today is lateral thinking. Now, what is lateral thinking? Well, it's using creative or unorthodox methods to solve a problem, usually viewing it from a different light that you wouldn't expect to use when solving the original problem. A good way I like to visual lateral thinking is that there is a wall blocking your path. Conventionally, you would either go to the left or the right of the wall, or maybe even climb over top of the wall. But if you apply lateral thinking, you might think way outside of the box and say, well, what if we tear the wall down, or we move the wall, or even drill a hole through the center of the wall so we can walk through it? The possibilities are endless when you come down to lateral thinking because there's no wrong way to view a problem if you're trying to find a solution. Now, how can lateral thinking assist me as a safety professional? There will be a plethora of times that I'll be addressed with a safety question that I might not have a direct answer to, or that the solution to might not always be so cut and dry. And that will require me to use a creative method or think way outside the box on now how can I solve this problem not only cost effectively, but also efficiently so that my employee is still safe and my company doesn't lose a ton of money. So the next concept we'll be going over is ethical leadership behaviors. These behaviors include things like being honest or trustworthy, making sure that you pay attention to all the parts of all party members when faced with a situation. As a leader, you will be put in a position where your decisions may affect not just one individual, but a group of many individuals and separate groups at that. So you want to make sure that you are not hyper focusing on one group so that another group gets left out. You want to make sure we're bringing everyone together and make a decision that is beneficial to not only one group but both groups. Uh, Building community is another huge part of being an ethical leader. Once you are in a leadership position, it is no longer me doing my thing. It is we collectively moving together to reach a goal. Another behavior that I think is the most important on this list is respect. We were always taught growing up that you treat others how you want to be treated. You can't walk into a room being disrespectful to those around you and expect them to reciprocate respect back to you. That's not how it works. Showing respect for others will have them respect you back. Will these behaviors benefit me in my career? I absolutely believe that they will. Just being honest and trustworthy and respecting people by themselves will help increase my credibility and also foster those professional relationships with my company or subcontractors, in my case, as a general contractor, making sure that we have good relationships moving forward. Now, the next concept we're going to be talking about is participative leadership. Now, participative leadership is sharing a decision amongst group members or a team. It can be divided into 3 subtypes, which is consultative, and that is checking with your group members before you make a final decision to get some consulting ideas about your decision. Consensus, which is making a decision based on a general agreement from your group or team members. And then lastly, democratic, which is you leave the final decision up to your group or team members. Now, how I use participative leadership, as I said before, I will be moving into a leadership role in a team when I start working with Skanska, and I will only be the safety side of the entire construction process. So I will have no idea what's going on project side of things, how the building is getting made, those type of things. But I will have an input on how safety is made, and I believe that I can make an input on a safety problem or try to offer a solution, but I can't make a final go before I check with my team members and make sure that they're agreeing with it, and that there's no conflicts in between any of us. And inevitably, it will be up to the team, not just me, on if my solutions or my ideas will go through. So the next concept we're going to be talking about is the personality traits of a leader. Those traits are things like trustworthiness, humility, and I mean humility in the sense that when you make a mistake, you take accountability for your mistake, you step up to the plate, accept the fact that you were wrong, and look for ways to improve moving forward. Having enthusiasm is another trait that I think is crucial to being a leader, because if you show up to work and you lack enthusiasm, kind of have your head hanging, you're a little bit low on energy, that's going to rub off on your employees, and they may, if he doesn't care about these things, why should I care about these things? That's the kind of thing they're going to think about. But if you show up to work and you're enthusiastic, you're full of energy, that's going to rub off on your workers. They're going to see you, putting all you have into a project, and they're going to try to do the same thing. Self-confidence is also a key part of a personality trait that I think a leader needs. You need to be confident in not only yourself, but your actions, what you tell people. If you lack confidence in advice or solutions to a problem, then that's going to show through, and you're going to be less credible. People aren't going to look at you the same. And another trait that I think is awesome for a leader to have is authenticity. That's not being two-faced. Don't be shallow. Make sure that when you're showing up for anything, if you're being asked for advice, if you're being asked for a solution, you want to be authentic with them. If there isn't an answer for them, make sure they know that. Don't try to, blow smoke at them. That's not going to look good for you in the future. And what can these traits help me achieve in the workforce? I believe that it is just going to push forward all those professional relationships. I hope that if I use these traits, I will be looked at as someone who is a credible resource that people can come to when they need, and that I can be trusted for any type of project. The last concept we'll be talking about today is teamwork responsibilities. Now, these responsibilities include establishing trust on your team or developing cooperation between group members. You will be bringing in individuals from different backgrounds or different departments within your company, and it's your job to make sure that they can all work together to reach a common goal. You want to emphasize being outstanding on your team. You want to make sure your team knows that you're shooting to be the best version of yourself and working as hard as you can, so they should also be working as hard as they can to be the best version of themselves. You want to make sure you're interacting with your team, not just one or two parts of your team, but making sure that your team knows you're there as a resource to answer any questions or help them should any problems arise. You want to also minimize micromanagement. When you get into the industry, everyone is an adult. They all have their own way of handling things, and it's not your job to tell them whether they are right or wrong, rather than to just be there to answer their questions or help them in any way that you can. Now, how will these actions help me get ahead of the game when I step into a leadership role? Just understanding some of these things I have listed out on the slide will give me a huge head start whenever I get into a leadership role. I will know that I need to make sure that everyone trusts me, that I can make sure that I cooperate with others, that they can cooperate with me, and that I'm just interacting and being there, like I said, as a resource moving forward. Now, to wrap things up, just a couple final thoughts. First, on this class, I believe that this class has given me a lot of information that I can use moving forward to help shape how to be a better leader. And in addition, with a couple other classes I've taken at Slippery Rock, I believe that if you are graduating and you're moving into a manager role, you should definitely be taking these leadership classes that are offered to us. They've given me a great perspective on key behaviors or tendencies that you will need to be a successful leader. Now, can I see myself excelling in leadership? I feel like it's too early to tell because I haven't got a role yet, but once I do have a role, I believe that I have a great foundation from these classes, this class in particular, to work on some of these concepts and form myself into the best leader that I can be. That is all I have for you guys. Thank you very much for your time, and if you have any questions, please let me know.